Hi everybody, welcome to Walker's Guide and welcome to day 11 of 30 Days of Wild. And today it's actually, the sun is out and I'm back at Hainault. I'm in the picnic area to talk about one of the trees. Now, I've talked about native trees a lot in these days, and the term native just means it's part of the environment. It's been there forever. Depending on who you ask, changes what the term means. Some people say that it means it's been there for at least 2,000 years. Some say from the last ice age. I go from the last ice age. So the tree we're looking at today is not only a non-native, it's a non-natural. I don't mean it's made of plastic. I mean it's a variety that you won't get in nature. It's been humanly formed. Not recently. Well, let's have a look at it. This tree is a lovely example of our tree for today. Man-made, but not printed on a 3D printer. This is a crossbreed that has been made by humans to take advantage of some of its aspects. Crossbreeding has taken place for hundreds, thousands of years potentially, taking the best of one tree or best of one plant and crossbreeding the best of another. Same thing with animals. Look at our native cows and sheep, or our common cows and sheep, and you end up with a mix. So what is this tree? Well, this is one of the most common trees in London, and it is the London plane, Planatus cross hispanica, or Planatus cross acerfolia. So its name means, if we go with the cross hispanica version, the plane from Spain, hispanica being an old term for Spain, because that's where this crossbreed first is thought to have taken place. The other name, aceriflora, means leaves of a maple. So it's a plane that has the leaves of a maple. That leaf is highly reminiscent of an acer, the maple family, although this tree isn't. But it's a bit interesting about that. We'll talk about it in a second. So why did this tree get used so much in London, and why is it known as the London plane? Well, the first example to be found in this country was probably in Ely in Cambridgeshire. Now, I've been lucky enough to see this tree. It's in the Bishop's Garden, or what was the Bishop's Garden, and it is huge. It's about 7 metres in diameter. There was 9 of us holding arms to hug the tree. It was that big. Growing up the top of it was a sycamore, and in the top of that sycamore was a holly. So it's a big tree. First grown in the UK in the early to mid 1700s, so 1730 to 1780 sort of region. But the reason that it's so beloved in London is because of the pollution. So in the early days of London's rapid growth and then becoming quite, going from being a really industrial centre to being where people lived, it got dirty. People started having fires in their houses because they wanted to keep warm. So in the 17th century, 1700s, it started getting bad. People were dying, but so were the trees, because they couldn't cope with the pollution. The answer, of course, is a tree that can cope with the pollution. And to do that, the London plane has a little trick in its bark. We can see the outer bark on the London plane is made up of like little plates, and during the year as it grows it actually detaches them and they fall off. What this means is when the tree was covered in soot that stopped it from breathing through the bark and stopped it from caused it to get covered in soot and other nasty chemicals that would poison it, that bark could just fall away. That protected it. That meant that the bark would fall off and the tree could grow on. Obviously all trees lose their leaves, or not all trees, all deciduous trees lose their leaves in the winter, but this also loses its bark throughout the year, or its outer layer of bark. And that made it perfect for really polluted environments like London. So lots were planted. There are a few minor issues with it though. It's known by some people as the itchy ball tree, and that's because its seed pods grow as balls, and those balls are made up with lots of fine fibres that, well, cause them to be itchy. The other issue with them is their leaves, when they're young, have very fine fur on them, but as they mature, this fine hair can actually come off as a dust, and obviously a dust like that getting into your lungs is not good. So the crossbreed itself comes from Planatus occidentalis, the American sycamore, and Planatus orientalis, which is the oriental plane. They were planted closely together in Spain, and the London plane is what was born, or Planatus crosshispanica. But that is the London plane, the itchy ball tree, the tree that made London green again, the tree that could survive where others couldn't. And that is the Walker's Guide for today. That's day 11 for 30 Days of Wild, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 12. Bye!